The power of the dark side, 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 side.
Go readings, Earthlings. The Martian invasion is upon us. What have we today? Chuck Wendig is telling us, today I got the call. I'm fired because of the negativity and vulgarity that my tweets bring. Seriously. That's what Mark, the editor, said. It was too much politics, too much vulgarity, too much negativity on my part. And he's saying basically I was not being civil. So, Mark, I don't know who you are, but thank you. I'm quite sure that Mark is probably part of the same 8% that Chuck is, and he probably just got the call from up top and told to fire poor Chuck. But anyhow, so the cookie crumbles, Chuck. I know there were happier times. Here's happier Chuck. Here he is with that soy face that we've grown to love. So what was Chuck fired for? Well, this is twitchy. This came the day after Kavanaugh was confirmed, and boy, Chuck was not having a good day that day, and he let forth a spew of word diarrhea that it just came spilling right out here, and there was lots of F-bombs and lots of Trump talk, and he says civility is for normalcy when things are normal and working as intended. Civility is part of maintaining balance. But when that balance is gone, civility does not help return, but it rather destabilizes it further because your civility gives cover for evil. Yeah, seriously, these people write like everything is, it's like some sort of epic novelization. So yeah, Chuck was a writer for, he had written comics before, and he basically got his job writing for Star Wars by making a tweet saying that he would like to write for Star Wars, and that apparently is what it takes nowadays to get work. You just say, "Hey, I'd like to write for you," and so he got a job, and he wrote Aftermath. Here's a happier Chuck signing copies of his book. So, I read a little bit of Aftermath. I didn't find it all that compelling, and it was basically talking about what happened between Jedi and Force Awakens, Rise of the New Republic and Rise of the New was it the New Order? I don't know what the heck they call themselves. But, so Chuck he did that, and he was working on a 5-issue series, Shadow of Vader, and, that was canceled right before 2 issues had to go, and so it must have been pretty bad for them to fire him right between, they didn't even want to get the series finished. They'll bring in some other hack to do the work. Maybe someone else is hanging out on Twitter, not working, and they'll tweet that they're looking for work. Anyways, he previously had written, says here, for Hyperion. I like Hyperion as a character. I don't know which comic he was writing for. As many people, I've stopped reading comics years ago, and for obvious reasons. Also wrote an adaptation of Star Wars The Force Awakens for Marvel. And it says here he was outspoken about his liberal political beliefs on Twitter. October 7th, he drew the attention of well-known conservative personalities such as Ben Shapiro and filmmaker Dinesh D'Souza with a series of tweets surrounding the confirmation of Judge Kavanaugh. Saying some things here, he said, winter is coming, you callous blanks. I can't even read this stuff on YouTube. I'd get channel marks against me. I don't even want I don't even want to stay on that for very long. But, this kind of thing is happening. This comes right after James Gunn was fired for some of his offensive tweets that resurfaced by conservative personalities. But see, when people take conservatives and take their words out of context, it's okay. But when someone does the same thing to you and goes back several years and finds some really weird texts and tweets that you have made, that's a conservative hatchet job. Apparently that's, going through someone's yearbook and trying to attribute fart jokes to some sort of weird sexual conduct, that's okay. But going through past tweets and finding stuff about pedophilia, apparently that's a hatchet job. So anyways, they also talked here. This is an article by the Hollywood Reporter, so this is going to be pretty biased anyways, but they're talking about Chelsea Cain being fired. I don't think she was fired necessarily because of anything she said. I think she was just fired because she's inept and couldn't get work done. I guess the books that she was working on, they were way behind. And it says here, Vision 2 months ahead of launch. Well, obviously, they pretty much didn't like what they were seeing, and from what we have seen in the media anyways, looks like she was way behind on getting work out. Anyhow, so so this is Chuck in a happier time signing copies of Aftermath, and so that's probably going to be, that's done. There's no more. Chuck he's sad here, but that's okay, because you'll get work, Chuck. You'll be back. You'll be back into the soy boy mouth again. You're going to get work. Trust me. You'll be okay, because failure in the progressive left it's actually a revenue enhancement. You've got victimization. You've got the victim card now, Chuck. If you're reading this, I'm sure you're not. You're not seeing it. You're not hearing it. But if any of this filters through, you take this to heart, Chuck. You're going to be okay, because you're a victim now. You've lost a job because of something you've said, and that's being a victim. That's something in the progressive left. You'll get work out of that. You'll be back on that New York Times bestseller list. Hell, you may even make number 1 this time. Maybe you did before. I don't know. I think Aftermath went to 4, but you'll get lots of positive tweets. You'll get glowing reviews. You probably won't sell a whole lot, though. You probably won't sell much, because the 8% of the population that you're appealing to, they don't buy a whole lot of this stuff. They say they do. They make a lot of noise about it on social media and on TV and movies. They don't actually buy a whole lot of stuff, though. And I think that's what Disney and some of these other companies are finding out, that the vast majority of the people caught in the middle, well, they may not call themselves conservatives. They hold conservative values. And what they don't like either is they don't like the vulgarity. They don't like the treatment of other people the way you treat them. And they don't like people being called names simply because they don't agree with you, simply because they want a more conservative fiscal policy, or they don't want illegal aliens coming into the country undocumented. That we don't care if they come in. We just want to know who they are and that they're not criminals. I mean, hell, it's a big hotel. We just want you to sign the guest book on the way in and on the way out. That's all. We don't really care who you are. Like I said, as long as you're not a criminal or something like that, as long as you're not escaping the law from your own home country to come here to commit further violations, we don't really care. It's a big melting pot, and we welcome everyone. I mean, heck, we even welcome Chuck, you know? So that's about it, folks. I was going to make a video on this a long time ago, but decided not to. But I think this pretty much wraps up the whole Chuck Wendig thing, but he's not out of there, folks. We'll see more of Chuck. That's for darn sure. He'll be back, and he'll have some more progressive liberal work to do. Like I said, no one will buy it, but he'll be back. So, but for now, Chuck, we'll say goodbye and farewell for now. But folks, that's it for me. Martian Invasion is out. And if you would, please remember trying to get more subs. So go down there, subscribe, and like and share, and hit that bell for further notifications. So we'll talk to you later. The Martian Invasion is out.